What's up, guys? It's Jeswa. So, today I will be talking about the invisible field, and it is called 0 point. So, Piet Hoff was one of the first to measure this energy of the universe. The energy was measured at 0 degrees Kelvin. So, the absolute lowest possible temperature in the universe, equal to minus 273 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, according to Newtonian what's going on, Scooter? Physics. All molecular and atom movement should have ceased and no energy should be measured at all. Instead of finding no energy, as was expected, he found what he called a seething cauldron of energy, and henceforth it was given a name called the 0 point energy, ZPE. Harold Piet Hoff proved that the physical vacuum is not devoid of energy at all, and instead of being a vacuum, space it is actually a plenum. So in quantum electrodynamics, the background sea of quantum energy is now used to explain the uncertainty principle that was discovered by quantum physics. The unpredictable behavior of subatomic particles, the jiggling of subatomic particles is believed to be caused by the 0 point field. Randomly, virtual photons jump back and forth between the 0 point field and our physical world. They collide with and are absorbed by subatomic particles that will be excited into the higher energy state. After nanoseconds, the energy is released again by means of another virtual photon that returns to the 0 point field. The photon is called a virtual photon since it comes and goes from the 0 point field and is not here to stay in the material world. It is only used in the energy exchange between the 0 point field and the material world. What are you doing, Scooter? Come here. Not only photons, but also all sorts of elementary particles come into our physical reality from nowhere at all. They seem to come from the 0 point field, make their appearance in our physical reality for only thousands or millionths of a second to disappear once again into the void. These forms of mystical particles were called virtual particles since they were not stable enough to stay around in our reality. The 0 point field is a quantum foam of virtual particles and photons. Our universe is never at rest, not even empty space. So even in a pitch dark room where absolutely no light from the outside world can penetrate, scientists can still measure the presence of virtual photons. The existence of the 0 point field has been known in the quantum science community for a long time, but most scientists simply ignored its relevance. They simply nullified the effect of the 0 point energy in their scientific calculations, since it only bothered them. As a result, they eliminated the effect of 0 point field because they believed the effect was insignificant. However, a small but growing number of scientists now take the 0 point field very seriously. Among them are many professors of note, and they are now taking on a radically different view of our reality. Their scientific discoveries and theories are controversial in the eyes of the established science community, who are holding on to the old paradigm that our world can and eventually will be fully explained by a mechanical model of the universe. What you doing there, Scoot? Are you catching the rats? Come say hello. Come on, quick. Come say hello, quick. Come here. This is Scooter. So the 0 point is becoming popular to a larger public thanks to scientific journalist Lynn McTaggart, who wrote the book The Field. The created greater awareness of the 0 point field that many otherwise not have been disclosed to the public at large. I strongly recommend this book to anyone interested in the new 0 point discoveries and the astonishing role humane consciousness. So that definitely plays in this field. For paranormal and psychic phenomenon, there is now a scientific basis for study. One of the first magazines covering the 0 point field at length is Ode, which appears in the US and the Netherlands. The article about zero-point field appeared in the November 2003 issue. So, A Sea of Energy, Princeton University, John Wheeler and Richard Feynman valued the zero-point energy for the first time. They calculated that a cup of zero-point energy is enough to bring all the oceans of the world to boiling point. The equivalent in matter of the zero-point energy using Einstein's famous equation of E equals mc squared is 1094 gram or cm3s. This is a more matter per cubic centimeter than the total mass of the entire universe. Contrary to what we have always believed, matter is not a condensed substance, but a diffuse form of energy. Now, how is this possible? We seem to live in a huge sea of energy, and we don't even notice it. We're like fish, submerged in water, but never, ever aware of the fact that there is water all around them. What was that, Stu? Hayash and Radea, contributed to the zero-point field using Hal Puthoff's work, but providing Newton's famous law of inertia, which states that inertia is the product of mass and acceleration, F equals ma. This that was known that Newton took an assumption that axiom in his principle, the Holy Bible of classical physics, could never be proven in the last 300 years, but by taking account of the zero-point field, Ruda and Hayash proved that inertia is simply the resistance, the drag that objects experience when accelerated in the zero-point field. So, sonoluminescence, there exists a very weird phenomenon in nature that is called sonoluminescence. It is the transformation of sound waves into light energy. It is a well-known experiment in the mainstream physics. In the experiment, a small spherical glass filled by water is resonated by harmonious sound waves of 20 kHz originating from sound speakers. Next, a very tiny air bubble is blown into the center of the spherical glass flask. When the air bubble is exactly centered in the flask, it starts to rhythmically implode and emit light. The light is emitted in ultra-short light flashes, representing trillion-fold concentrations of the original sound energy. Temperatures within the center, just give me a minute. I'm just going to focus. So through the center, the bubble reached an astronomical height of 30,000 degrees Celsius, and the pressure is immense. Mainstream physics is still having problems with this experiment and are speculating about cold fusion. Others think that there is no explanation that there are abundant light energy comes from the zero-point field. The sololuminescence effect has stimulated the imagination of Hollywood filmmakers, and it featured a whole film about this phenomenon. The film is called Chain Reaction. Further investigations about this natural phenomenon may lead into what is called sonofusion, a kind of cold fusion that physics has been seeking for so long. So I'm going to take a break now. Thank you guys. Love and light.